I don't know if you guys have seen this now yet, but the other day somebody posted this to one of the discords that I'm in about how there are cheaters in Fall Guys, which blows my mind if I'm being real with you. This is kind of why we can't have nice things. And I'm a little bit expecting Yoshi to eventually just kind of drop the hammer on people. Because I know when World First Top was done, it was found out that that group cheated. And it was very disappointing. I'm not going to get into all that stuff, but if you want to check it out, it is all over the internet. In the Final Fantasy community, it's pretty well known. But yeah, Top was the world first were cheaters, so that was not a good experience. And now you have Fall Guys. Fall Guys is just a fun crossover. I mean, there's literally no competition aside from if you want the title, which is behind 100 first place wins, which, side note in my opinion, is honestly a little bit on the ridiculous side. I do think that probably needs to get reworked. I don't know if 100 first place wins is the best way to do that title. But I do get why they did it, because they want to keep people interested in the event. And, you know, I did the event. I still have one or two things that I want to get out of it. But you can pretty much clear out the things that you want to get in that thing after probably 20, 30 runs. All told at the end. You don't even have to place first, because you get a pretty generous amount of coins, or whatever you want to call it, just for participating. And even if you get knocked out in the first round, so on and so forth, you get a pretty decent amount. So you can actually get most of the glamour pieces, or minions, or orchestration rolls, or housing on it, whatever you want, pretty quickly. But the fact that for the title, it's 100 first place wins is a little bit insane. And I do realize that the event goes until the end of December, so you've got like 2 months to get this done. But that's kind of nuts. And I'm not blaming anybody, but I'm starting to think that might be part of the reason why people are cheating, because that's such an astronomical ask for getting this. And I do realize that as the event has gone on, people have kind of fallen off on this. And there's not as many people actually doing the event, so it's probably a little bit easier to get a first place win. I know in the first couple of days, it was absolute insanity. And I do know from personal experience that trying to get a server to queue up to get you in was a little bit of a challenge. We're going to get into one of the other big gripes that a lot of people have had on this event, myself included, in just a moment here. But, you know, the fact that people are cheating in all things of a Fall Guys crossover event, just, it blows my mind. I can't even with this right now. It's like, come on, guys. This is exactly the reason why we just cannot have nice things in the game. Because people, there's a subset population that just kind of ruins it. And yeah, I don't know. So if anybody hasn't seen the story, what people are doing here is, if you can see here, there is apparently a mod or some kind of a cheat software out there that, as you can clearly see, will basically telegraph or tell you where the items are going to be falling, and or when things are going to be spinning, knock you off, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, again, like, seriously, this is what we have come down to, where we have to cheat on an event that is basically there just for glamour pieces, which over the course of 60 days, I would say you can reasonably get all of them. You don't need to do this. And it's a little bit discouraging, a little bit disheartening that people are doing this. So, again, I'm thinking that Yoshi is probably going to bring down the hammer on people. I can't at this point imagine that he doesn't, because again, when Top World first happened, it was very, very discouraging and very disappointing. Not just because people cheated, but because it was kind of the integrity of the game took a major hit at that point. And I'm not saying that that's the first instance of cheating in Final Fantasy, because it is absolutely not. There are plenty of people and plenty of instances where there has been cheating. Some more publicized than others. This obviously one of the more publicized ones. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a game, guys. Come on. I mean, nobody's winning the lottery from this. Like, I don't understand the reason why. So, I don't know. That was just one of the things with the Fall Guys event that kind of popped up that people were talking about. Again, myself included. So, I would say that this is something that is probably going to get addressed, I would think. I guess we'll find out. So, I don't know. We will see. The other thing that I wanted to chat about, again, related to Fall Guys, is the netcode, which this is something that I personally was kind of griping about, and a lot of other people. So the net code, for anybody who doesn't know what that is, it's basically the server ping or the latency or whatever you want to call it, right? So you do action A, B, or C, and then the server registers action A, B, and C, and then consequently will then go ahead and have you do A, B, or C within the game, right? And it's well known that in Final Fantasy XIV, there is a netcode / lag issue to a degree where, like, if a AoE goes out on a boss or a mob or whatever it is, you get that orange cone or orange circle or orange whatever it is to tell you where the hit marker is going to be, basically. And then there's some savage content where that's actually been removed and you just have to know timing to get it out of there. But for the large majority of the game, there is the orange cone, orange markers, orange whatever it is, right? And it kind of gives you the idea of you don't want to be standing here, right? With a couple of very niche exceptions. And basically you can more or less not cheat the net server, but you can kind of, like, you know, cheat the mechanic to a degree where once the orange cone or orange circle or orange damage marker, whatever it is, resolves and disappears from the screen, you can slide right into where the animation's about to happen for the damage. So for example, if I'm standing in front of Thornton, I'm just picking a random person, a random boss in the game. If I'm standing in front of Thornton and all of a sudden the orange cone comes out for a swipe that's about to happen, if I sidestep to just outside the orange zone, I can then sidestep back in once it resolves and it disappears from the screen. And you don't take any damage if you're in the area after the orange marker or orange, like, warning area has disappeared and resolved on the server. So you can kind of cheat some of the mechanics to a degree. And that's kind of the gist of the netcode with Final Fantasy. So in some cases, it's actually to your favor that it's there and you can kind of cheat mechanics and get through certain things. For this event, though, I would argue that the netcode was a major, major issue. And I know personally, I talked to some friends over Discord. I had a big issue with the netcode because in Fall Guys, you would jump or you would move or you would do something, right? Excuse me. And you would clear it on the screen, but then about anywhere from 1 to 2 seconds later, you would get knocked off or you would get pushed into something or whatever the case may be. When on the screen, you were clearly already past it, right? So this has been an issue for a while in the game, and I feel like the Fall Guys event absolutely exacerbated the issue here, or the problem with it. And I'm hoping, oh, here we go. Let's just play this. Oh, that's really loud. Sorry, guys. Okay, that's not a good example. We'll go for it. Explain again. Okay, apparently they're only showing examples at the end. But so what my point is being here is, let's just say, for example, because this literally happened to me. The hammers here, like, this guy cleared it and I would have cleared it. And then a full second later, I get knocked or bumped or whatever because the animation from, I'm sorry, the netcode doesn't recognize that I've already cleared that area. And because of the latency, I'm well ahead of it, right? And with the latency, it's then registering the hit that I would have taken if I were still in there. So this has been a big issue for the Fall Guys event. And I know that they're aware of it because, you know, people are talking about it. I don't know how much they can do about it, though, because this has been an issue in Final Fantasy from, like, patch 1.0, like A Realm Reborn. This is like a decade old issue. And I don't know if they're ever going to be able to take care of it. So it's one of those things you need to live with, basically, in the game and just kind of know how to work around it or work it to your favor more than anything. But again, the Fall Guys event, I feel like, just really put a spotlight on it, which unfortunately, you know, these things happen. But aside from the cheating, unfortunately, and the netcode issues here, it's actually a pretty fun event. I'm not a Fall Guys type player at all, but I actually had a lot of fun with it, minus the raid sessions when netcode would basically screw me, or for all I know, somebody was cheating on the sessions I was in. There's no way I would know. And nothing I can do about that. If you remove those two items, which are two major items, it was actually a pretty fun event.